Hey all, TC here, and this is my entry into Dr. Oktober's contest. I just discovered Dr. Oktober thanks to Beth at Red Rum Records and a couple of other people. Love his stuff, and I'm glad I just found out conversing with him that he subscribed to me too, so that's cool. His contest wants us to pick 3 soundtrack albums and say why they're important to us. And this was hard because I love soundtracks. I decided overall to stick with my vinyl collection because I can't get to my CDs, although I've listened to a lot more on my CDs in recent years. These 3 that I've picked here are a very big part of my late teens and early 20s, and I still love them, and I still would love to everyone else to like them too. I was gifted the Star Wars soundtrack by my mother when I was in a freshman in high school, I think. It didn't get much play at the time. I loved the main theme, but I wasn't a big fan of the movies until I got older, and then I really found myself understanding what was so magical about them. But the same can't be said for its counterpart in the science fiction world. And it was the first soundtrack from the first movie. That was the very first score album I ever bought. All 3 of these are scores. Jerry Goldsmith's Star Trek The Motion Picture. 1979. I picked this up in the summer of 1980 at Odyssey Records in Spokane, Washington. I adore the music from this album, from this movie. I have played this album to death over the years. I have it on CD also, and on MP3. I listen to this still constantly. This is the best of all of the Trek movies, and I'm a big Trekker from way back. Have tons of books. I've seen all the shows, most of them. Didn't like Enterprise, and I don't watch Discovery. But of the original cast, I adored them. I liked Michael Giacchino's version from the 2009 film also. But still, of the original films, this is still the best. Ailea's theme, A Star Beyond Time, fantastic. There's a vocal version on a 45 by Sean Cassidy, which isn't half bad, but I prefer the instrumental. This is one of my all-time favorite score albums. Got me through a lot of my junior and senior year in high school on in the background while I was studying and stuff. So number 1, Star Trek The Motion Picture by Jerry Goldsmith. The second one I got while I was working at Buzzard's Nest Records in Lancaster, Ohio. I worked there for about a year, and I was already a fan of the gentleman as the leader of Dire Straits, but I had not become familiar with Mark Knopfler as a score person until this came out. This is Cal, the music from his second score job. I've never seen the film all the way through, but this music, it's beautiful, and Knopfler, one of the true guitar greats in the world. This is a precursor to what I fell in love with later in the 80s, New Age music. It has a very New Age feel with a distinct Irish bent, of course, and the guitar work on The Long Road in particular, which is my favorite song on this album, is amazing. I adore listening to this. I used to put it on my stereo, turn it up as loud as I could without disturbing the neighbors because we lived in an apartment building, and read or write and have this music in the background. It was fabulous for that, and it still is. Made me an intense fan of Mark Knopfler's. I have his greatest hits of scores screen playing on CD. I do not have this, but I now have the ability to play the album again. Music by Mark Knopfler from the movie Cal. Finally, there's the score that I played constantly. And not only is the score important to me, the movie is too. I've seen the movie, I don't know, 2 or 3 dozen times in my lifetime. And one of those times was the time I got to introduce my wife to it. She'd never seen it before. And one day, before we connected that way, we were just friends, we rented it at the video store, and she sat down and watched it with me. And at the end of it, she was like, "Oh my God!" This whole one line at the end of the movie gets her every time. We got to see it on the big screen together at the Brattle Theater in Cambridge for a few years ago. And I will never stop loving this movie. I will never stop loving this music. I find it terrific and just so uplifting and fun. There's no way around it. It's Klaus Doldinger and Giorgio Moroder and the original music from The Never-Ending Story. This movie is such a delight and is part of my 20-somethings also. I was in my early 20s when it came out. I saw it 3 times at the theater. I've seen it a number of times since then on video, as I said. And the album was on my stereo constantly. I have this on CD and on MP3 as well, so I definitely still continue to listen to it all the time. I was already a huge fan of Giorgio Moroder as the producer of Donna Summer, and also for the music from Midnight Express, which I loved. This one is terrific, and Klaus Doldinger's uplifting music, which is especially Bastian's Happy Flight, which opens side 2, and which you see whenever anyone is flying on Falkor in the film. It is fantastic, and that's why it's one of my favorite scores of all, if not the, it's up there in my top 3 favorite scores of all time. Klaus Doldinger and Giorgio Moroder and The Never-Ending Story. So those are my 3 soundtrack albums. I hope you like my entry, Dr. Oktober, and I hope that you will enjoy. I definitely enjoyed your initial announcement of the contest. Quite interesting and quite fun. And I hope everybody else who hasn't done it yet does it, because this is a great contest to do. I'll see you soon, and until then, I'll probably have another contest entry too. Until then, I'm TC. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.